Hey, good evening. So today we're going to see the topic about file handling. So under that we're going to see about that what are the files and how to prepare the data from the file and then exception handling and some of the things. When see in the first one is what is in that files. So normally we files is a collection of data or information, something else. So basically we are using a files, right? Using a file in our offices. So what is the use of that file? It's some consists of some papers. The paper having the called record. It contains the record. We store into the record into the file. And also most of the offices they are using as a confidential. Likewise, it is a collection of some records or some information or data that is called as some files. Here, definition of file means the collection of data or information right into the notepad. So basically, we write the data into the notepad and save the information. Save it as this called as a file. So all the information stored in a computer must be in a file. So in our computer, we are having a folder. So inside the folder, we have some text file or the document. These are the called as the files. The file is named location on a disk to store related information. File is a named location on disk to store related information. So basically, we have a file name for the file. For example, we have some information in the file, and it is stored into the name that is called as a name location to store the related information. But also, it is used to permanently store data in non-volatile memory. Example, hard disk. So now the files are stored in our computer where the data should be stored. It is in the hard disk. Since random access is a memory is volatile, which loses the data and computer is turned off. Suppose if you using you store the data into the RAM, which should be losses when the system is turned off. When we use file for future use of data. So basically, why we store the file in our computer for the further use. So whenever we need the file, you just open that and read the information or write the information in the file. And finally, how to save the file. That is a definition about the files. So we are having different types of files. First one, data files, text file, program files, and directory files. So these are the different types of files to store the information. So in the data files, we use to store the data or information. Next one, text file, using to store the text. Either it is a document or TXT, something like that. Next one, program files, and then store the programs into the file. Next one, directories. So normally we using these directory files to store the files as directory. These are the different types of files. Next one, types of file accessing. Types of file accessing. In these types, we are having sequential access and random access. So what is the sequential access? So that means in our file, we have a lot of information into the file. So we want to access the last record in the file. We want to use in the sequential file. It takes more time to access in the record. That means here we want to access the last record in the file. We must read all the records sequentially. That is a sequential access. That means if you want to read the last record, that means last information of the file, you must go through from starting itself. So at the time we take more time to access the record. Next one, random access. This type of file is allows to access a specific data directly without accessing its preceding data items. That means wherever we want the data, you just directly go to the data and read it. That is a random access. Randomly, we can access and modify the data. Next one is the file operations. We have some file operations. you want to read or write into the file. You just want to read or write. First, you want to open the file. After read or write process, then it needs to close. Then only you avoid the data losses. What is the first process? First process, first you have to open the file. Next one, read or write the data into the file. And after read or write, you have to close the file. These are the operations. First one, file open. So how to open the file? If you want to open the file in the Python, having the built-in function called open-of method. So in this open-of method, to open the file, this function returns a file object. So it is most commonly used with the 2 arguments. So what are the arguments? That means the access mode and buffering. Access mode means either it is open with a read mode or write mode, and then buffering. Buffering means either it is a 0 or 1. So the syntax of file to open function is first you have to use the file object, that is name of the function, and then equal to open of method. Inside that you will just give the file name, and then access mode and buffering. So the access mode isn't to determine the mode in the file has to be open. So we're having different modes, access modes. One is a read, write, or read and write. So up and likewise. So you just give the R, it opens only the read mode. Next one is buffering 0,1. If 0, there is no buffering. If 1, line buffering is performed while accessing the file. These are the buffering. Next one, file object. Once a file is open, you have to have one file object. So that means if you want to open the file, definitely have to give the file object. Which file you have to open. The example of this file open is f equal to open of student.txt and w. So the already discussed about the open of method. This method is used to open the file. Which file you have to open? Student.txt file. In which mode? That means write mode. So here we have to write the information or content into the student.txt. That is the use of this write mode. Next one, with and as statement. Using of with and as statement. The user can also work with the file object using the with the statement. It is designed to provide much cleaner syntax and exception handling you are working with code. That means with open or as open, as file. Yeah. That is a with and as statement. That means the syntax for this with statement is with open of file and access mode as file. So we want to open this file and with open mode. With open of stamp.txt, write mode as file.write of file. So you have to open the file stamp.txt and you have to write the content in file in the file stamp.txt. So after open that stamp.txt, you have to see the content in this stamp.txt. That is the use of with and as statement. So some of the file opening methods, that means modes of file. First one R, that is an open the file for reading. While using of this R mode, that means read mode, the file pointer is placed at the beginning of the file. Starting to read the content from the beginning of the file. Next one, write mode, open a file for writing only. To overwrite the file already exists. If the file does not exist, create a new file for writing. Next one, RB, that is read only in binary format. WB is write only in binary files. Next one, R plus. While we using of R plus, it opens a file for reading and writing purpose. So both reading and writing is to be done in the R plus mode, and then W plus. So this is also same as open a file for reading and writing. We have to overwrite the file by using a W plus. Next one, A is a file for appending. This file pointer placed at the end of the line. So while using of append mode, the file pointer in the file point out in the last of the information. That means last of the line. Next one AB is an accordion binary format. Next one, how to read and write in the files with the help of read and write mode. These are the file object uses to access the file for reading and writing. Next one, write mode. This method writes any string to an open text file. While using a write mode, we have write any content into the particular file. The write mode does not add a new line to the character to the end of the string. The syntax of the write mode, file object or write of string. Just give the string within the double quotes directly write into the particular file. The example for the write mode, f equal to open of sample.txt write plus. That is both read and write mode. After write of problem solving Python programming. This is the content we have to write into the sample.txt. So after write that, we read the content. What is the content into the sample.txt? After that, dot close. So if you open that file, definitely we have to close the file at the end of the program. So what is the content you write into the sample.txt problem solving Python programming? So using of read of method to read the content in F. So you get the output of problem solving Python programming. Next one, read the text file using a read method. This method reads a string from the open text file. The read method starting reading from the beginning of the file. So instead using of the read of method, the file pointer start to read the content from the beginning of the file. Next one, the parameter is the number of bytes to be read from the open file. The syntax for read of method, file object of read of count. This is syntax. The using of read line. Whenever the user runs the method, it will return a string of character that contains a single line of information from the file. That means if you want to open the kk.txt at the read mode, so already the kk.txt has some content or information that the information you have to read with the using of read line of method. Print file name file of read line of already the content hello world in the kk in the text file. This content we read it by using of this R mode. That means read mode. So I hope all are understand about the file handling. So we will discuss the other topics. We will follow. Thank you.